Draft weekend is complete. Aaron Rodgers, he's officially a Jet. DeAndre Swift is returning home to Philadelphia, while D Hop, he appears to be staying put in the desert. What's up, guys? You ready to talk about the draft?
Yep.
What's going on, man?
Let's do this.
What's going on? Bet. Okay. Thanks everyone for listening to the Purple Auto Podcast with Kevin and Durp. I'm Brandon. First topic of discussion: draft reactions. What's the first thing that comes to mind when we look back on the weekend, guys? Durp.
For me, it was just how random and how unpredicting this draft was. You didn't know certain teams were coming up. You just didn't know how they were going to do it, what they were going to do. Trades, usually when, you know, the draft is going on, it gets out the top 5 or top 10 or whatever. You usually start to know what teams are going to do and things like that. And this one, after it passed like 5, I didn't know what the hell was going on. So I mean, it was a cool draft to watch. I think a lot of teams did good. Not too many teams did bad for real. Like a lot of teams filled needs.
The Bears actually had a good draft. I
Yeah,
almost
we
crapped
got
my
that.
pants. They actually got people they needed. I almost crapped my pants. But no, seriously, it was a crazy draft. I didn't know who was going to pick what. I mean, you had players that are dropping and you don't know why. You got people moving up and taking players that are projected to go in the second round. It was just a crazy, crazy draft. Daniel Jeremiah is a Jeremiah Nostradamus because he, like a month earlier, he predicted the Tennessee trade up, and then it happened.
Mm.
So I don't know. It was just all over the place.
For sure. Keeping on that subject there. What move or moves left you all in awe, Kevin?
Like, was shocked me or was made me scratch my head?
Yeah, what surprises? Either one.
Okay. Will Levis falling out of the first round. I thought for sure this was a kid that, not but a couple of days ago we're all talking about this kid possibly being the number 1 quarterback taken off the board, and then he falls into the second round, and it's like, what happened? I mean, I know he didn't have a whole lot of experience in college, but he goes from being like the combine darling and possibly the number 1 pick to falling directly out into the second round. And my other one is San Francisco drafting a kicker on day 2. I mean, I know, we've seen in the past that kickers are relied on more now than ever, but still, the draft one in the third round, that surprised me. It had me scratching my head.
Seabass.
Seabass. How about you, Durp?
For me, you can ask Mike. We're sitting at the Buffalo Wild Wings when the Lions took Jahmyr Gibbs at 12th overall. Like my jaw damn near hit the floor. I could not believe it. And Jamar Gibbs is very good. They compare him to Alvin Kamara and all that, but them taking him high as 12 just absolutely completely blew my mind. And like Kevin said, how some of these players slid in this draft is just crazy. Joey Porter Jr. going to the second round. Granted, he was the first pick, but him falling to the second round was insane. The fact that Miles Murphy made it to 28, the fact that Nolan Smith made it to 30, like
Zay Flowers making it to 22 for the Ravens.
Yeah, like the way that these players fell, and some of the players that went in the first round. Like I was real hyped on Emmanuel Forbes that went to the Commanders,
Yeah.
but I wasn't first round hyped on him. I was telling people he had more interceptions than any other DB in this draft class. He had like 6 pick sixes in college at Mississippi State. I was telling Mike about him while we were there, but I don't know how you take him over Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah.
That just absolutely blew my mind as well. So, like I said, the draft position of some of these guys, where some of them fell, like Jalen Carter to 9 to the Eagles. It's just the way that this draft unraveled was just crazy to me.
For sure. So we all know the GMs and coaches, they all come on TV after the draft. They feel like they made some great additions to their teams. But give us a team or a few teams that'll look back on this rookie class and be really proud. Dirk?
I mean, the obvious answer here is the Eagles. They went and got all those Georgia Bulldogs and all those dudes from Bama, but it makes sense. They have won the last 2 national championships. So I mean, like I said, that's the gimme, the easy one. One team that I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about is the Texans and how they finessed to take CJ Stroud, who's gonna lead your offensive unit for years to come, and then you go back to back and get Will Anderson, who's going to lead your defensive unit for years to come. Then in the 3rd round, you get Tank Dell, a very polished receiver. You get Henry 202 from Bama, who I thought that was one of the best linebackers in this draft class. So I feel like a lot of people are talking about them. They're talking about the Steelers, but nobody's really mentioning the Texans. And one last team that I think that that's kind of flying under the radar that I think basically hit on every one of their picks is the Bengals. To sit there and just not move and have Miles Murphy fall into your lap at 28, where a lot of people had him going in the top 10, is just crazy. Then in the 2nd round, you get DJ Turner from Michigan. The dude ran like a 4.26 or something like that. He can basically drafted the Flash. Then you go and get Jordan Battle from Alabama, one of the top safeties to replace Jesse Bates. You get another running back in Chase Brown. Then you get another receiver, and then you top it off by getting a punter. We know what they did last year by drafting that dude. Was it Evan McPherson?
Oh, yeah.
He came out, so they know how to pick special teams. So I think that they basically hit it out of the park and did what the Eagles did, took a good team and made it even better.
True.
Thanks, Durp. I have nothing to say. Because you took the 3 teams I was going to talk about.
I'm sorry, man.
No, go ahead. I mean, I agree with everything you said about with the Texans, with the Eagles, and with the Bengals. I mean, I think one team though that was a little bit of a surprise was for me for this rookie class was the Falcons. I think passing on Tyree Wilson. Passing on Jalen Carter when they need defense and getting Bijan Robinson. I think it might hurt them a little bit, but I think still a decent pick.
Yeah, I think that they've built up the secondary so well there with these free agents and stuff. I think that they're kind of gonna lean on what they already have, getting Calais Campbell and stuff, and that division's so wide open that they think that they can do it. I'm kind of skeptical about Ritter, but we'll see.
Same here. All right, flipping the script. Which organization didn't do so well in the draft, Dirk?
For me, I think it's the Lions because, like I said before, Jahmyr Gibbs is a good talent. I think he's going to have a pretty good career, but you already have David Montgomery. You already have him, and then you already had DeAndre Swift, who you got rid of to get to the Eagles, and you had Jamal Williams, and you let him walk and go to the Saints. So running back really wasn't a need for them, but they kind of made it a need themselves. And then I don't understand taking Jack Campbell at 18. I understand you may have needed linebacker, but I think that Trenton Smith and Drew Sanders were better middle linebackers than him. I don't think Jack Campbell should have been the first off the board, although he is a Iowa prospect, so they usually transition into the league well. But I think that if you look at who was taken after Jack Campbell, they could have taken better defensive players, if not, players on that offensive side of the ball, even though they had already went running back earlier. But I just think that the Lions kind of panicked here. And from what I'm hearing is the GM of the Lions was told by people from around the league that they were thinking about taking Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round, and they weren't being serious. They were just basically like trying to get him to do it, and he bit and went with Jahmyr Gibbs. Now we don't know how true that is, but I just once again I don't understand taking Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. So yeah, I
It's
think
like,
the
what the-
Lions kind of botched this one.
Yeah,
then-
I think the Lions is probably they got to be the number one overall debauchery in this whole draft, because it's like they didn't even know what they were doing. It's like they were just picking names out of thin air. They weren't going. It seemed like they didn't have a board of what they needed. They had a board of names, and it's like they just threw a dart. Hey, look, yeah, that sounds good. Let's go and draft him.
Yeah, I think another
Eh,
team. Oh, sorry. Good.
No, I'm just saying, and I think another team for me was Washington with the Commanders. I mean, I don't know. I man, I know you need a cornerback, but you're right now your wide receiving core's garbage. And I know you know, but I mean, think Emmanuel Forbes. Yeah, he's a Bulldog, Mississippi State Bulldog, probably one of the best cornerbacks in the draft. But I think they still need to try to go wide receiver in that spot.
You said the Commanders' receiving core is garbage.
Yes,
You seeing things I don't see?
I've always thought
You
they were
got Scary
Commanders.
Terry.
Yeah, I'm about to say you better
John
put some.
Dawson came in there
I've
as a
always thought
rookie
they were
and
garbage.
put up numbers.
You
And
better
who's the
put
other
some.
guy there?
You better put some respect on.
They have three great
Terry's
receivers
name.
or three
Terry-
good receivers.
Curtis Samuel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel.
You better
I'll
put some
give it to
respect
you.
on Terry's name. We gotta play that man
Nah.
twice a year.
Yeah.
That man is a dog and a half.
Now they need a tight end, but I think
That's right.
they're
I'm
set
sorry.
at wide
Yeah,
receiver,
never
running
mind.
back.
I apologize. Yeah, tight end is what I meant, not running back, not
All
wide
right.
receiver. My apologies.
We
My
got
apologies.
Okay, that I can understand.
Yes.
Yep, same here.
My apologies. Don't look. I'm coming off pneumonia here. Just
All right.
bear with me.
But
Bear with me.
to Durp's point about the general manager there in Detroit, I just think about what was that Kevin Costner and
Yeah. In draft day.
in draft day, because it's funny. I think Daniel Jeremiah or Rich Eisen mentioned it on the NFL Network broadcast. I can't remember what they was talking about, but they mentioned that in something. They was like, imagine Kevin Costner slamming down the table now. It was like, I can't remember again what they were talking about, but yeah, that's kind of cool. You mentioned the fact that that if you know, like you said, if that was true, if they had him bid on that, because I think he's a fairly young GM as far as his how long he's been there, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah,
Is
it
it
was like
maybe
when
a couple
they
years
were
or
messing with
rookie?
the Seattle GM. It was like when they were messing with the Seattle GM.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you do that? I don't. I went on my
All right,
pitch
everyone.
back and David Putney.
Well, one real quick, I think that another team that missed on this draft that had an opportunity to get better is the Jets. I didn't understand them taking Will McDonald in the first round.
Yeah.
I understand that you just got Aaron Rodgers and you're elated, but I think that, like, once again, you could have went with like a Nolan Smith there. You could have went with the Kalijah Kancey or whatever. I didn't have Will McDonald ranked that high at all. Once again, you know, I could just not know what I'm talking about, but I didn't see many mock drafts where he went into the first round. And if he did, it was 31st to the Chiefs. That's the earliest in any mock that I had seen him go. I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but I think that they kind of reached there. And I've seen
Sure.
where a lot of other people agree. Then they went a lot of offensive line after that, which makes sense, protecting Aaron Rodgers. But maybe they just feel like they're good enough to where they could get a guy and develop him. But I think that, like I said, I think that they reached there for sure.
All right. You're listening to the Purple Little Podcast with Durp and Kevin. Speaking of Kevin, his Ravens, I saw something on our Twitter page today saying April drafts bring Zay Flowers. How would you say your team did entering the draft with 5 picks, Kevin?
I would give him an A-. You know, we needed a wide receiver in Flowers. I would have liked to have a corner in Joey Porter Jr., but you know what? I'll take the wide receiver. And then it all just lined up. We got the linebacker we needed. Trenton Simpson needs to probably be, with them not picking up the 5th-year option on Patrick Queen. That's probably his replacement there. Tavares Robinson, he's going to probably need a year or two to develop, but you know he's probably going to be your edge setter. And then the one that shocked me though, it's Andrew Voorhees. Then trading up, and this kid's coming off. I mean, I know he was projected a top 10 pick before he hurt his knee, and he's going to be a redshirt for next year, and he's going to be, when he comes into his rookie year, it's going to be 25 years old. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if this kid's talent can cross over into the NFL, and if trading up into the 7th round was worth it to get him.
Yeah.
Or
I agree.
could it kind of make me scratch my head with that injury if maybe he could have been somebody that they could have gotten as an unrestricted free agent.
Mhm.
But what do we do? But what do we know? I'm not even going to try to say Air 6th-round pick's name. I'm just gonna call him Salah. I'm an Oregon Ducks fan. I do like him, and I like Salah, but I felt like he needs work. He's got that hard punch, but he does have issues with the swim move. He has issues with bull rusher. He's more of a finesse guy, and he does have issues with the bull rush. But decent at the 6th round. I wouldn't have took him any higher. And then Caillou Blue Kelly, 6'1", 188. The problem with Kelly is that he does not fight for the ball. I mean, he's one of these finesse. He's like one of these finesse running backs that he tried to get you out of your rhythm, but you don't see him jump a lot of routes. Like I think the most interceptions he had in a single season was 3. But he has a legacy. His father, Brian Kelly, played 11 seasons in the NFL. But what I'm very interested in seeing is Tavarius Robinson. I think this kid's going to be a beast. Do I think he's going to be a plug and play? No, I think he's going to need a year. Another one. I think he's going to probably need a year to develop. But I think once he's in there, he's going to be an edge center. So that pretty much breaks down the Ravens. Like I said, A-. Some had some picks had me scratching my heads. Others, like Zay Flowers, were obvious that they were going to take, especially with just signing Lamar right before the draft started. Obviously, they were going to go wide receiver there. I said I wanted a cornerback, but once I saw they signed Lamar, I had no doubt that they were going to get him a weapon. So how about your team, Durp?
You want to tell us about the Bears? You want me to go?
I could go Bears.
Go Bears, man. Bear down.
I can bear down for you. Overall, I'd say B-. They drafted more for needs than they did for best player available. But they got Darnell Wright, so they did actually get some offensive line help. They got defensive line help. Tyreek Stevenson in the 2nd round, I thought was a steal at 56. Basically, with them, they drafted for need. They took and they didn't screw up. It's not like I don't think they reached for anybody. I think they just sat back, allowed the player to drop to them, and what can I say? The Bears are the Bears. We'll see what happens. When you're 3-14, there's not much more you can do to screw up.
I don't know. Ex-Lions back. I don't know what the record was before they went 0-16 that year, but
no, I think they did. I think they showed themselves up. I think, I'm not going to say playoffs, but I think probably 8-8 this year with what they got. So how about you, Durp? Your Cowboys.
How long are we able to record on here? Because I can talk about this till the next draft. If we really get into it here.
Go ahead. Have at it.
I would say after sitting on it. If you had asked me, right after the draft had ended, I would probably said like a C- for real. I didn't think that we drafted well at all. But after being able to sit on it for a few days and think, I'm giving us a strong B+, maybe like B-, like right on that threshold. After looking into Mozzie, I realized that we went with a big need. We've had problems stopping the run since back when we were playing in the playoffs against the Rams, making their backups look like superheroes, busting off 9-10 yards on us every run. So that shored up a big help. I looked into it in 2002. Mozzie Smith had a 13.1% run stoppage percentage, which was 3rd among all defensive tackles, and he accumulated 0 penalties in all 4 years of Michigan.
Wow.
So basically, he just gets downhill. They asked, they talked to him a little bit. He said his game plan when he gets in there is when he pushes people, they go backwards. So I like that. That'll definitely help free up Micah. That'll help free up D Law. So I like that. Then you want to go into the second round. You want to talk about reach. This is a reach like Michael Jordan back in Space Jam when at the end of the game when he had to stretch to make that dunk. That is how this reach is. Smitty tried to make me feel better about the pick, but we didn't even need to draft a tight end in my position. We had two of them, Henderson, Ferguson. I don't understand, especially going second round, especially when the guard Cyrus Torres was right there. He went with the next pick out of filled in a position that we needed. And I mean, if you look at it, the guys that we've drafted later in the drafts, and when it comes to tight end, Jason Witten, we had Dalton Schultz, we got Jake Ferguson, who I just was talking about in the fourth. Guys that we went early on are like Gavin Escobar, Martellus Bennett, Anthony Fasano, guys that didn't work out. So you would think that we would learn on that, but at the end of the day, I trust Will McClay. I trust Stephen Jones when it comes to this draft. Every year they make picks. Like last year, I was upset with taking Tyler Smith. He got plugged in, and it worked out phenomenally. So I trust these guys. A couple guys that I'm elated that we got is DeMarvion Overshawn from Tennessee. He's a former safety who's playing linebacker now. And you watch the tape, and dude is just a ball hawk. He is picking passes off. He's rushing the passer. He's getting to the quarterback. I think that he's going to do phenomenal very early on for us. Another guy, Williami Fahoko. I looked into him. He played for San Jose State. He's second in tackles for loss there, eighth in seasons tackles for loss, and fifth in career sacks. So basically, anything you want a pass rusher to do, he was doing there. And of course, everybody, even if you're not a Cowboys fan, likes the story of Deuce Vaughn coming to the team. His dad calling him and everything. I was very happy when we got him. He's on the smaller side at like 5'5", but the dude is shifty. Comes from the same school as Darren Sproles, so we'll see if there's any magic there. But yeah, overall, now that I've been able to think about it, like I said, I'd probably give us a B+, B- somewhere in there.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys had a good draft. They didn't have to steal the card out of his hand this year.
Kevin, I agree with you with that. The guy we traded back in to get in the seventh round, I think.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I still don't understand it.
Yeah, same. And I know Durp was like, he was like you said, he's probably would have been a top 10 pick, top first round or whatever. But to see the team that picked directly after us when we traded back in to get a guard when we needed a left guard at that point, a healthy one. No disrespect to Vorez or whatever his name is out of USC. It's kind of head scratching.
Right. Well, that's what I thought we were going back in for. I thought we were going to get that guard. And when they drafted him, I'm like, why? He's 24. Mm-hmm. He's coming off of he's not even fully healed, coming off of a knee injury. By the time you plug him in, he's going to be 25 years old. And is he going to have the push that he had when is he going to be gun shy, because he's going to be on the back end of 20 coming off of a knee injury as a rookie in the NFL. Yeah, it made me scratch my head. I thought for sure he could be somebody we could have probably signed as a unrestricted free agent.
UFA,
yeah, UFA, and then if he made the team, great.
Yeah, I thought shortly after it happened, I thought this has been something we've done the last couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. The guy out of Michigan last year, the second rounder, David, I can never get his name
right. Jabu.
Thank you. He came in and he was banged up. If I'm not mistaken, Bateman, we drafted him. He was banged up.
Hollywood.
It seems like we get one a year that we draft, and it's like, okay, they got to sit, or they're going to go on the pup list when they first come in, or something. Some bull with them.
Right.
What I'm saying? So the two recent ones seem like they worked out. Bateman and boy out of Michigan, but we'll see how it goes. For sure.
Yeah, that definitely had my head scratching on that.
Definitely. All right, I think we may have touched on this before, but we're gonna go ahead. It was a sixth
I mean,
rounder
but
for next year, right?
Yeah, they only gave up a 6th-round pick for next year, so it's
Yeah.
not like they gave up
Yeah.
a lot. But when you're coming off of a year where you only had 5 and you're saying how much you
Yeah.
value picks.
That was another thing I thought about too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, like I said, I think we kind of touched on it. I think you all may have, but we'll go with it again. Which GM reached for a player a bit sooner than you thought they should have gone that route? Durp, you're up first.
I mean, I think it's obvious what I'm going to say. It's Jamar Gibbs. It's the Lions' whole first round pick, both of them. Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell's not really a reach, but I think taking him at 18 was kind of wild. Like I said, I don't see it's got to be Jamar Gibbs. It's got to be going running back in the first round has been so taboo, and then they get Bijan Robinson, which I can understand. They're saying they're comparing him to LT and AP and all this other shit. So he's a special talent, but I just don't understand. Like I said, and especially with it not being a need. Like, why did you go out and spend money in free agency to get David Montgomery from the Bears, a division rival, and you're sitting on Swift and you get rid of him, or you draft this guy just to get rid of him? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. Once again, it's not a shot at him. I hope it works out for him down in Detroit, but I just can't wrap my head around it. What about you, Kevin?
I agree with you. Jamar Gibbs was the biggest surprise to me, especially trading up to get him. But if you want me to go a different route, say no, I'm sorry. It's just maybe it's my mentality. Who drafts a kicker on day 2? I'm sorry. If you want to get them in like the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, I can understand it. That's fine. But to draft a kicker in the 3rd round, it makes no sense to me. It's not like you're going to have everybody and their brother clamoring to go after this kid. But no, I think the 14, that was like I said, the Detroit definitely. My number 2 would have to be the 49ers with the kicker. Just cannot get over drafting a kicker in the 3rd round. Just can't do it.
Kevin, you must have been asleep, like I said earlier, when the Raiders drafted Seabass back in 2000.
No, I didn't like it then either.
Whatever year it was.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Trust me, I threw things. I was like, what in the? Trust me, I was like, what in the ever living hell is Ozzy doing? I remember when we drafted him.
No, the Raiders.
Yeah.
Who's Ozzy out there?
What's that?
Which Ozzy you talking about? Ozzy Newsome?
Yeah, I don't know.
You thinking Al Davis? Brother.
Al Davis, yes. Yes, goddamn. I told you I'm not.
They look alike. I could get that.
What?
Al Davis. I mean, well.
Okay. What you over there drinking?
I'm not drinking nothing. I'm talking
about Durp that time.
Nah, I was joking. Those
I know.
Those two men couldn't look any more different.
I know, right?
I'm telling you, man, I'm off my game tonight.
But yeah, I think that's probably was the highest kicker since Seabass, for sure, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Very interesting pick for sure. All right, turning the page. Biggest steal. I really think the Steelers drafting sitting there. I think they did trade up at the top of the second to get him, if I'm not mistaken. To get Joey Porter Jr. at the top of the second. Huge steal for them. Team that needs a lot of help at corner. But Durp, what are your thoughts on a team that snagged a player from everyone else?
It's got to be the Eagles getting Nolan Smith at 30 to trade up one with the Bears. I think they just swapped picks and then they gave them like a 4th or a 5th or whatever it is, and then to just sit back and watch this guy just fall back. I had him going in the top 10 easily. If no way he gets out of the top 15. And in my mock, I had him going to the Eagles, and I said he's just such an Eagles player. And this is, not even counting the fact that he's a Bulldog. It's just the way that he can bend the corner and get up, get low, get under pass protectors and stuff. It just seems like one of those Eagles guys, those Trent Coles, these Brandon Graham. It just seemed like the right fit, and for them to just sit there at 30, the second to last pick, and just say, "Oh, you want us to take this guy who was seen as top 5 defender in this draft class? Yeah, don't mind if we do. We'll take him." So I think them sitting there and getting him was just crazy and very unfortunate for the rest of us in the NFC East. What about you, Kevin?
Me is Levi falling to the Titans in the second day. second round. I mean, this is a kid that everybody had projected as a top 5, top 10 pick. How some people were having him possibly drafted number 1 overall, and then to see him fall back and back and back, and then the Titans passed on him in the first round, and then for him to come back, and then for them to draft him day 2. I think this kid's a number 1. I think this kid's a first round talent. And I think the Titans got themselves a quarterback at a steal on a second day contract.
We'll see how that goes. Tannehill's on his last year of the deal there, and doesn't appear Malik Willis will be there. It doesn't appear he'll be the future plan, excuse me, for sure.
Well,
I never saw him. I never saw him in their future plans. I mean, I don't think they did either, or they wouldn't have gotten Levi.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean they made it that obvious, but I feel like he never got a chance. Like
True.
they went with Tannehill, and then they were already losing games, down players and shit, and they basically just threw Malik Willis to the wolves. They just drafted him last year in the 3rd round,
Mhm.
and then
Correct.
you take Will Levis in the 2nd round this year. They already came out and said that Tannehill's the starter, then Malik will be the backup, and Will Levis will be the 3rd rounder. But you don't take a quarterback in the 2nd round
For
just to have
sure.
him sit. So we'll see what happens with Malik. I've been a big fan of his. I think he was kind of given a raw deal, so maybe he goes somewhere and can make some noise.
Okay. I got a bit of a curveball before we leave, guys. Gonna ask you two which was the best moment of the draft for you all, or even post draft. I'll give you a second to think about it if you don't have something on your mind. I like the Lions introducing Gibbs there in Detroit to the organization with Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. Puts a little pressure on him, I think, because you get a guy, especially like Barry Sanders, that demands respect from everybody. The career that he had, and then Calvin Johnson, I mean, one of the greatest to ever do it. They posted the pictures on Twitter and social media and stuff with those guys there at the headquarters there in Detroit. And I also liked the Patriots corner top pick Christian Gonzalez in his suit when he got on stage, repping his Colombian roots there right before he walked up to the commissioner. So do you guys have a best moment in the draft, no matter what it is, or even post draft, like one of my examples, Kevin?
I mean, not really. I mean, them just having the military there, I find that that's just
Definitely
just, and them honoring the War Memorial Building. It's something that needs to be done, especially with World War I veterans. Not too many of them are still around. So him talking about that, but oh god, what was his name? I can't remember the lineman they drafted when he grabbed Goodell and picked him up like a sack of potatoes.
Oh yeah.
That was
first
fun.
rounder, yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. I mean, he picked that man up like he weighed like nothing, like a sack of potatoes. I thought for sure then, oh Christ, there goes Goodell's back.
Yeah, he was on Good Morning Football a couple weeks ago, and
Right.
he practiced with Kyle
Sure.
Brandt.
Yeah, Kyle Brandt. Yep.
Yeah, and they said he like almost hit one of the studio lights.
Yeah, he picked him up so high.
Pretty cool. Durp, you got anything on that?
I mean, for me, it's got to be what I was talking about earlier when we drafted Deuce Vaughn. That whole situation is just, it's cool. I got to see it. I watched the thing where his dad was on the phone with him prior to the draft, like, when the draft was starting or whatever, and basically was telling him, like, it doesn't matter when you go in the draft or even if you do, just when you get there, you got to make the most of it. He was reminiscing on, this, all the times me driving you to games and stuff. This is what it led to, stuff like that. And then actually seeing the phone call and the emotion in that, especially being a father myself, it's just, that's got to be a surreal feeling and a great memory that they'll both always remember.
And I love the way he did it too. He didn't even ask him if he wanted to tell him they were going to draft him. He said, "You want to come to work with me next week?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Honorable mention, Kevin. You didn't want to welcome Joey Porter Jr. back to the AFC North. He went to so many Steelers games against us. I mean, it should be a best moment for you as a Ravens fan.
Yeah. Okay. No, it would have been beautiful if they would have drafted Joey Porter Jr. and have him see Joey Porter put on a Ravens shirt.
Oh man, yeah, I was thinking about that. So yeah, I think Durp or Mike mentioned it in the group chat when I was like, he cannot go to Cincinnati. It was like,
Yeah,
I think somebody was like the Browns. Somebody mentioned them, but yeah, I think the Browns would have been, even though we are a big rival with the Steelers. I think Steelers Browns was more of a rivalry, at least early on in Joey Porter Senior's career.
yeah,
um, when he first came in. Like on his back part of his career was more Steelers Ravens, but it was definitely Steelers Browns there in that early time. So I could imagine the Browns picking him and him having to either go to Cleveland Brown Stadium or like uh, Kevin said, having to put on a Raven shirt, having to put on a Brown shirt and wear that ugly orange and brown.
I wonder if
Your
they
boys
did
got
it.
anything else?
Wonder if they did it like they did on draft day when he said to his dad, "I'm going to be a Steeler." Like in draft day, I'm going to be a Brown.
Yeah. But yeah, very entertaining weekend for sure. Y'all got
Absolutely.
anything else before we go?
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yes, these teams with these today's the deadline for the to pick up the 5th year option, and some of
Yeah,
these
yeah,
teams just aren't like, I don't understand the thing that I sent y'all to the group chat.
yeah. The
How
Seahawks
in the,
linebacker.
yeah, how in the world do you not pick up the 5th year option of Jordan Brooks? Last year he had what, 161 total tackles. I think the year before he led the league with like 184. This dude is
Mhm.
just a tackling machine. Your defense is already suspect. So why are you gonna get why are you already gonna get rid of your middle linebacker? What are you gonna do? Rely on Jamal Adams, who gets 5 sacks and but plays 7 games a year? It doesn't make sense. And then the I can kind of understand it now, more talking to friends of the Commanders, Randy and 40, with them not picking up Chase Young's
Yeah,
5th year option. And
that
I've
makes
talked to
sense though.
I've talked to Randy about it before, and he had a good point that like when Chase Young was coming out and they picked him 2nd overall, everybody was so quick to tag him as like this generational pass rusher, like he was the next J.J. Watt or something. But really, he was just very productive at a very productive school.
Mhm.
And injuries have obviously caught up to him, but that with them not, him not playing that much, he came on decent at the end of last year, but they would have had to pay him 17 or 18 million dollars if they had did that fully guaranteed. So I can understand not doing it, but they just did the same thing with Deron Payne, where they were like, no, we're not going to pick it up. Then they had to tag him and they had to bring him back. So we'll see how it goes. I think that if Chase Young leaves and goes to a different team, he'll probably end up doing pretty well.
And I think that writing was on the wall there with Chase Young too. I don't know how bad the injury was because I remember it was like Commanders fans like, man, when is he going to come back? When is he going to come back? And I remember telling one of my Commander fans friends, I don't think he's coming back. I just like, at least last year, because
Yeah.
they thought maybe the last couple of weeks they'll bring him back for a potential playoff push and all that stuff. And I was just like, I don't know, it was just like he looked hyped up on the sidelines and stuff, but it was, I don't know, maybe it's just the way he was standing there or what. But it was, and plus again, they were, of course, 3 teams came out of the East to go to the playoffs, and it did look like in that probably that week 16 week, I think that's when they somewhere in that range they got eliminated from the playoffs. It
Because they
was
started
obviously
Carson
no
Wentz
point
against
in
the Browns.
yeah bringing them back. So yeah, yeah, it's very interesting. Like you said, these today's the deadline for that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead, Kevin.
no, I'm saying, Ravens didn't pick up. I was surprised the Ravens didn't pick up Queen's 5th year.
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't, not after getting Simpson.
I'm saying I wouldn't have, but I'm just saying because he's not going to be a plug and play. I don't think Simpson you're going to be able to put him in there. Like first day, and he's going to be like a
Yeah,
plug
yeah.
and play.
Well,
I think he's going to need a year, at least a year, to develop. But when you got the best, I don't know. It still surprised me, but yet it doesn't.
I think it'll be a similar situation to Kyle Hamilton and Chuck Clark.
Yep.
Of course, Kyle Hamilton, of course, was a first rounder, probably a little bit more talented at his position when he came out. But we saw early on in training camp, and I think at the open
He had the
practices
yips.
where he was getting burnt left and right.
Yeah, he had the
But
yips.
I honestly think they're going to trade him before the trade deadline, Patrick Queen, because I doubt they're going to let him walk as a first rounder. In 2020, was it 2019, whatever year it was.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he did get better when Roquan came along, but
Well,
like I
that's the
told
thing.
Durp in the group text, I was like, don't put him on a linebacker, and especially, I mean, on a tight end, especially in the red zone. It's a touchdown, like automatic for sure. So yeah, I think it'll get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna let him go, get something out of it, in my opinion, especially after this year not having, I mean, literally 5 draft picks. I've the fewest since 1999.
Mhm.
That's how long it's been since we had that few.
Did you see the king of the trolls messing with the media again?
That.
Antonio Brown saying
Oh yeah. My bad.
he's coming to
Yeah.
play for the Ravens.
What I say, Dirk, I'd rather be 32nd in passing than to
Yeah.
get him on my team.
I agree.
The
I thought it
meme,
was, I'm like the king of the trolls is messing with the media again.
the
Oh my
meme that I
God.
sent, the meme that I sent to y'all was hilarious. It said that the AB has agreed to come to the Ravens,
Yep.
but the Ravens did not agree with him.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I can't.
He agreed to
Give
play
me-
for the Ravens, but the Ravens didn't agree to sign him. Oh, that's
Give
great.
me
I
the
like that.
31st. Give me the 32nd ranked passing attack. I mean, we pretty much was there last year, or last, honestly, last couple
Now
years.
I'll take Martin.
And I'll keep. He could stay right there wherever Florida, whatever state he's in. I don't care.
I'll take Marty Morningwig back before
I will not take Greg Roman back. I won't give you that offer.
I didn't
for
say
sure.
Roman. I take Marty Morningwig back.
I know. I'm saying I'm not gonna give you a counter offer.
Ain't nothing going to give you Greg Roman back. No. I forgot where
sure.
he has another job now as offensive coordinator. I forgot where he's at though.
Must be in college. I don't think he got hired in the pros.
Okay.
Greg
I didn't hear
Roman.
about that one.
Hold on, I'm looking it up now.
We say Dirk?
You talking about Greg Roman?
Yeah. I
No,
don't think he got hired in the pros. They was talking about him.
I haven't. I'm not sure.
I know they was linking him to the Stanford job, if I'm not mistaken, back before the season ended. One of them jobs.
He needs to take his ass back to college. That's for damn sure.
I
Couldn't find
thought I can't find anything. I thought I heard him.
I doubt it's in the NFL, so it's got to be a
Yeah.
college if he got somewhere. I mean, he might be a running backs coach somewhere, but coordinator NFL, I doubt anyone's going to pick him up again. I mean, unless your run game is horrendous and you're trying to turn that around. Other than that, no. But yeah, we're going to get on out of here if y'all good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for listening to our show. We greatly appreciate all y'all. We'll be back right after the schedule's release. It's still up in the air right now. Looks like it's going to be May 11th next Thursday, or the Thursday after next. Again, special thanks to our experts, Kevin and Durp. Until next time, be easy.